Start over. Well, old Toller was a dirty old man. He get the young women whenever he can. Old Turner. They wouldn't give him a whole lot, but they smiled once and they thought about old Turner. Well, this old man, he had a rock hammer. He could take a stone and hit it here and there, and it split wide open. But this dirty old man lived in the Teanaway. He had this old dream, a military 43. He'd drive up around the woods and he'd find the things, he'd look for rocks. He was in the quarries. He'd find those things. What do you call them? In the rocks, those old things. Old dinosaur and flower sort of things. Well, we got to forget about that. I can't remember. Oh, fossils. Fossils, that's the word. But fossils wasn't what he was hunting. In the Tanaway, he built everybody's fireplace, everybody's barbecue. He'd go out and take his little teeny hammer next to these great big rocks. It was a pretty little hammer. It probably didn't. It was smaller than a single jack. If any of you people out there know what come on fingers work, my strings are vibrating, but I'm going to keep trying. Old Turner was a dirty old man. He flirted with a young woman whenever he can. They all loved him. Old Turner. He went out and got the rocks and he had a whole bunch of fun, you guys. I tried, but God, you can only take so much pain, and then you gotta wait and do it again the next day to take more pain, and you'll get stronger until you die. So, I gotta tell you more about Obie. You know what bull durham is? Tobacco. Bull durham tobacco is this junk that they used to clean off the floor of a tobacco factory. It's the powdery, useless shit. They sold it in little bags because it wouldn't go anywhere else. But Obie Turner, he loved to smoke it. He'd get up in the morning and put on his Levi's and dump a pack of it in his pocket. And he'd put the papers in the shirt pocket. And during the day, he'd take the paper out and he'd stick his hand in his pocket. And he'd come out with a rolled cigarette. He'd lick it and light it with one hand. I mean, I couldn't do it with two hands. This powdery bull durham shit is hard to roll. It's hard. Give me some fresh leaf. I like to roll it. But powder, tobacco. But Obie did it in his pocket with one hand. Never did figure out how he did that. It was still amazement to this day with me. When his relatives took away because the river took his home away. The middle fork of the Tanaway, the ecology people come out there with a caterpillar and change this one corner of the river, and the next year when the river come up, he had 2 foot of water over us. You know, you could take a boat to his house. That was the last time I seen him, was in a boat trying to get to his stuff that he worked for and built. All his carvings. He did all these beautiful rock carvings. And that was the last time I seen Obi. His family took him away and never even told me when he died. And him and I were good friends. I gotta tell you a story about him and I. He taught me how to catch skunks because we had a skunk problem. And he built these cages where the skunks couldn't lift their tails. They go in this cage, they're kind of like a weasel, but they can't spray them, they can't lift their tail. So you make them real close, flat to the ground, like take 2 beer cases, things, and put them down, leave an opening, put some bait in there, trap them up. They're in there. Well, we caught all these skunks, and we used to have fun with catching these skunks. We'd take them over to the west fork of the river and let them loose next to this guy that Obi had a beef with. This guy tried to say Obi cheated him. And Obi never cheated nobody. But every skunk we caught, we took over to this guy and let him loose on his property. Kind of an old feud up and down the middle fork of the Tiana. The middle fork. With Shirley Dankle and Alex, we used to take the pack mules up that mountain. I don't know how far I got into that story, but everybody wants me to hurry up and sing more music. And the stories, there's so much more to them that are special, like the mushrooms part of it. You know, there's mushrooms out there that a human being can live on, and moss and trees that keep you healthy, and bugs. I never thought about eating bugs too much, but they'll keep you alive. And if you over there at winter, there's a winter. I mean, we got 6 months of black snow. Ooh, I said the F word again. And I've been frostbitten a few times, stuck up there trying to get the animals out of the woods and stuff. Oh, I didn't tell you I was a cowboy. This old hippie cowboy. Never wore a hat, never wore cowboy boots. Always wore my moccasins. But you had to wear straps because those briar bushes will tear your leg out. Well, instead of straps, I went and got myself a pair of leather pants. These pants were great. They fit my body so good you couldn't believe it. They were like, you could stand them in the corner and they'd still have my shape. And in those days, my shape was pretty damn good. At least the women thought so. I didn't think so. I never even thought about it. It looks like this 15 minutes I'm just talking to myself. But let's try to get some more shit in here. You ever heard of an Ellensburg blue? An Ellensburg blue is this gemstone. And it's only found in one place in the whole world. It's this opalized agate. It's like a gemstone, like a diamond. But they're hard to find. But I used to herd cattle over this area. And every once in a while, when the sun's shining right, and the cattle walk through and it turns over a stone, I found them that big around. You cut them into slices and you shine them up. They were worth thousands of dollars. between the Brock's cat and the gemstones that were just natural out there. I didn't. I hunted a few Ellensburg blue when I was broke, but I had more fun with old Heidi Ho, the dog, and watching the cows. You know, I've watched her. We were sleeping out one day after mending fences, walking fence line and fixing them and out there at night. So we just lay down. It's summertime. I'm in the sleeping bag and she's laying next to me, and I'm being woke up by her shaking. And we're surrounded in this whole herd of elk. And this giant old bull elk is standing right over me in my sleeping bag. And he's looking at me, and Heidi's waking up, waiting for commands. Can I chase him away, or do I not do nothing? And I wake up and I'm looking at this big old gobbler and elk. And the moon's out and I can see this whole field that we were sleeping above is full of his cows. He's like the monarch of the herd. And he's just smiling and looking at us. And he walks off. Heidi gets up. I tell her it's okay. She's going down in that herd of elk, playing with the calves. And this great big old bull just walked away. Smelled us laying there, and nobody tried to be aggressive, and he didn't try to be aggressive. And it was a beautiful, like over a half a moon night. Warm. And wow. You're mixed with it. And on the ridge around the cows in the herd and the babies, they were in the field below, were all these young bulls. Like the males surround the herd of young and stuff and watch them and take care of them. I watched them all night long, and they kind of live on a different cycle than human beings. Human beings live during the day. They kind of live in the twilight, and then I went back to sleep and woke up and they were all gone. Heidi was laying there and just with her tongue hanging out, and she'd played all night with the calves. She'd run this way and they'd run after her. It was so fun to watch. I hope this is recording, or maybe I don't know. But I took off my shirt and my house is still warm. Maybe it's what I'm talking about. I don't know, but I gotta get this guitar off my neck because it's hurting my back. It's sitting this way. So if you guys see Vince, tell him I had on his shirt. It's just, it is warm in his house, and I turned the temperature way down. I got a window over here. That helped. A cool breeze. I hope you guys could see, I don't know. But I can reach that window. It's the only window in the house I can reach to let some air in. I probably didn't start this darn thing.